What is up, guys, and welcome to episode 2 of our Redstone tutorials. So last week we were looking at all the stuff over there, and this week we are looking at all the stuff over here. So this week we're going to be looking at temporary power sources and very simple methods of ways of opening doors and etc like that, and making gateways for yourself. So I don't know why this music is coming on. It's going to get me copyright claimed, so off you go. So buttons are a temporary power switch. A constant power switch is obviously a lever, because you press it on and it goes straight on, and it stays there until you physically change it. Okay. So temporary, constant. Simple as. That bloody music's still going. Oh, I can't bother with it. It's nice to have in the background anyway. So yeah, buttons are the first type of temporary power switches. They can also be made out of stone. Then you have pressure plates, which also double up as, they're temporary power switches, but they also double up as very simple methods of opening a door. Instead of having to click on it, it just does it for you. Now, there's wooden pressure plates and there's stone pressure plates. Okay. There's also then gold pressure plates, which are weighted pressure plates. For instance, if I drop that on there, it's going to open the door. If I drop that on there, it's not. Okay, so, and weighted pressure plates also react to weights, and there's a heavy version and a light version, because different objects weigh different amounts. So obviously wooden and stone pressure plates will open all types of door. Okay. Now I have another pressure plate here, which is a wooden one, so I've just opened that metal door with that pressure plate, so it should be fine, right? So we can't put one down. Why is that? We'll try here. Okay. That works because it's activating the block. Okay. So if you look very carefully, those doors compared to these doors are actually on completely separate blocks. Okay. Now this is the way you make two-way doorways. So you have one pressure plate outside your house and one pressure plate inside your house. And then you can have the door open any way that you want it to. So if we do another one with this and place that on there, it opens that way. And that one opens that way. Simple as that. Now, another type of temporary power switch is the tripwire. Now, for the tripwire is a activation type of power switch. Okay, so I've rigged up a little quick simple thing here. So when this power switch gets triggered with the two hooks and a line of string across the floor, it's going to do what it just did there, and it's going to activate. The power source is going to activate that block, which will then activate the redstone that's coming away from it. The redstone will then power that block, which is connected to this lamp. So when I step on this, that should be inverted by the power going into the block that it's connected to, and it should turn off. Bingo. And once again, it's a temporary power switch because it's not on constant. If you step off of it, or you stop it from activating, it's gonna take away the power source. So, simple gateways. Okay, so you have your door, but you don't want a pressure plate next to it because it looks ugly. Okay, or you're on a server and you don't want people just getting into any old area. Okay, so what you're doing is you dig under it, put a redstone torch underneath the block that the doorway is positioned on, and then if you lead redstone out of it. And that's not going to work because I've actually done that wrong. GG for me. So what we need to change here is we need to make that an invertible torch. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to take out the block that door's on. And I don't understand why I'm lagging so much. There's like literally nothing around here to make me lag. Might be because my draw distance is so far. Right, that should give me a bit better FPS. So what we need to do is, this block here is going to be the block that the door is on, okay? So we need to power it, but from underneath. So the way we do that is you put a block here, redstone torch, on that block. That redstone torch is then powering. It's not powering like the ones next to it. It will be powering that block there and the block that sits here because it's directly underneath it. Now, this doesn't. If you just had like a line of redstone like that going along and you had a block above it, that redstone will not power that block above. But because the torch is angled towards it, it's going to power it. So we have now got an invertible torch. Block over it, door there. Lead the redstone out. And with this simple blick, of course, because it's inverted, isn't it? Idiot. Right, so what this is doing here is it's doing exactly, basically, what I just showed you from this contraption here. Okay, because this redstone is powering this block, it's then turning this off. Okay. Now, every time a torch gets turned on, it obviously powers the block. So I just added in a door on top of a powered block, but it's almost as if the door has come after the reaction of the power of the block actually being powered, which is why it won't work. So if we unpower the torch and then we power again, it opens. But obviously that you don't want a door to be like that all the time. You don't want it to be open all the time, do you? So the way we solve this is we have a double inverter connection onto it. Okay, now this is a very simple gate and it has a double inverter connection on it. So what it's going to do is I'm going to have a temporary power switch on here that's going to send a signal down here through the repeater because I want a delay on it so the person who's trying to get through the gate can actually get through. It then powers into that block, which inverts this torch. That torch then powers into the redstone, which powers into this torch, which powers into that block and then inverts that torch. Okay, if I then put a block on here, that inverted torch is then powering this. Okay, so you have a double inverted connection to the door. So if I plug it, it's going to open and close itself because it's inverted. So it's in a state where it's going to go from being non-active to active. Simple as. And you can do exactly the same thing here. So I'll have a block there, torch there. So again, powering the block, redstone torch is under there, and as you can see, that's now closed. Put a line of redstone behind it, and bingo! It closes. Now, quite obviously, you're not going to want massive gaping holes in the ground like this, are you? It's quite obvious that you don't want that. So, next week, I'll be talking to you about how to make concealed redstone contraptions to activate doorways, and I will also be talking to you about the 2 texture packs that I always use in Minecraft, one for playing, one for redstone, one for whenever I'm doing redstone, because it just makes it so much clearer than when you're using the normal Minecraft default texture pack. So anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and it's been informative too. Things will get more complex as the weeks go on, but obviously we have to start right back from the basics for people who don't know what they're doing with redstone, and then we will slowly work our way up to extremely complex contraptions, and I mean like really complex. Like I'm talking like 9-digit combination locks for doors. We're gonna have 4x4 and like 4x5 self-opening doorways with blocks being moved out the way and stuff like that. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be seriously cool. And probably to finish up with the whole thing, I'm gonna teach you how to make a multi-railed train station to take you to all the parts of your map. So anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next week.